It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Last week was the annual West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair, where several wellness centers, medical officials, and exercise opportunities were available for the greater West Bloomfield public to observe and learn about how to help improve their own lives. Among the options at this event included a unique fitness option to strengthen your body by tasks that in most cases would seem very simple, but with some added difficulty to make a vigorous workout. We actually spoke to Krupa Patel of Body 20 at the event to learn a little bit more.
Joining me right now, we have Krupa Patel with Body 20. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And of course, we also have Jen from Drip IV joining us once again for being our wonderful volunteer for this process. But Krupa, could you tell me what we're about to see?
Yes, so if you come into the gym, we're actually doing a 20-minute workout, but here today, we're gonna do a quick 3-minute arm demo. So our beautiful volunteer here is gonna start with us with doing some simple bicep curls. So you're going to see how much resistance she feels without actually lifting any weights. So she's simply just squeezing the balls, and I'm going to go ahead and start. And start doing some bicep curls for me. How does that feel?
Hard. I really feel that.
So we're going to do 3 sets. So now the system is off. So it's all of our workouts are 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So you're back on in 3, 2, 1. Do you think you can go up a little bit?
Let's go a little bit more.
Looks pretty hard.
Yes. You got to fight that resistance. We're going to do one more set.
Okay.
And back on in 3, 2, and 1. Push through it.
It looks easy for everyone watching right now, but
I promise it's not.
there's some real, Jenna, thank you so much. But wow, that really showcases just how much this is helping work out your body for just these simple little exercises, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it's definitely the intensity that you get, the efficiency, and it is catered to each individual person. So even though someone might think, okay, that seems a little too intense, it is catered to anyone with whatever level of fitness they're at.
And what other types of fitness do you offer with Body 20 to help strengthen West Bloomfield Township?
So at Body 20, we have a cardio, we have performance, as well as a strength. And our personal trainer is always going to be working you out with those different systems. So whatever your goals are, we're basically meeting you and helping you curate and cater to that plan.
Awesome. And last question before we wrap things up, how great is it to be a part of something like the Health and Wellness Fair here in Greater West Bloomfield and to be mingling with all of these other great people? It's
really nice to just connect with the community. Everyone has so many different things to offer. Just looking around to be able to optimize your health and connect with not just other individuals here, but also being able to know what is coming.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the demonstration and seeing what Body 20 can do. Krupa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
A lot of information, a lot of great resources available at the 16th Annual Health and Wellness Fair at the West Bloomfield Township Town Hall. You can get a full recap of that event, even the different segments that we featured during that event. You can go directly to our website, civiccentertv.com. Just click on the On Demand tab. It'll take you there. Or if you're watching Civic Center TV, scan this QR code with your smartphone. It'll send you a link that'll get you directly to that information as well. Youth Academy recruits recently spent an exciting and educational day gaining hands-on experience at a simulated crime scene. They learned the fundamentals of securing and investigating a scene, received an introduction to Turnic technology and substance identification, and even participated in a drone demonstration. The afternoon shifted focus to critical emergency response training, where the recruits practiced CPR CPR, and learn stop the bleed techniques. Valuable life-saving skills, by the way, that can prove essential in real-world situations. It was a well-rounded day filled with learning, discovery, and practical application. If you're watching on Civic Center TV, you can see those photos right here as well. We'll continuously keep you updated with the first time that the West Bloomfield Police Department has put on this class with the local West Bloomfield youth as well, and we'll keep you updated as that continues. Get ready to blast off into summer with Oakland County Parks. You can join the fun at the Sylvan Lake Community Center on Wednesday, June 18th. That's today from 5 to 8 p.m. It's an evening packed with games, food, activities, and it's for everybody of all ages. You can enjoy eats from the Impasto food truck and grab some free, that's right, I said free ice cream, courtesy of City Hall, while supplies last. First come, first serve basis. Bounce houses, lawn games, and even a euchre tournament starting at 6:30 p.m. It's a lot to do, and once again, it's for the entire family. We will keep the fun rolling, and there's also be a mahjong tournament, basketball, pickleball, volleyball courts, all ready for play. If you are interested in joining the euchre tournament specifically, they're asking that you text Amy. That number would be 574-514-1919. Once again, that's 574-514-1919. Don't miss this free evening of fellowship, food, and family fun in Sylvan Lake. The internationally recognized Planterra Conservatory, continues to draw visitors from around the world. From unique plant decor for homes and workspaces to unforgettable events right here in Greater West Bloomfield. I actually went out on location to get more on this local gem.
Well, every element of the architecture of the conservatory, from the Gabion stone archway to the koi ponds, the custom pavers, and the European trusses, they all transport couples to a unique place in time that is distinct to Planterra and different from other event spaces in the region.
Backed by decades of horticultural expertise, the Pliska family and their team ensure every detail reflects their mission, creating unforgettable experiences rooted in nature right here in West Bloomfield.
You know, the Pliska family has been part of the community for over 40 years out of this property. You know, we are a community that's racially, ethnically diverse. We're an inclusive company. It's important to us. Also, the family has partnered with many cultural and community organizations over the years.
As an establishment with a well-known reputation, Creative Director and Vice President David DiVincenzo tells us more about how Planterra accommodates guests from near and far.
About 90% of our couples have guests coming into town from someplace. Many couples were raised here. Now they're kind of coming back home for weddings. Some are from the Midwest with no connection to Detroit other than us. So we need venues for hotels. We kind of connect them with wedding vendors. So we're definitely kind of extending our business into local communities, supporting businesses. 90% are local. About 2/3 are either women-owned or person of color owned that we partner with.
Inside, you're surrounded by rare botanicals, serene koi ponds, and a design that honors nature while elevating every celebration. Sol Maria Gray, event operations specialist, further elaborates on what makes the conservatory unlike any other venue.
The conservatory is unlike any other venue in the Midwest. And while we are a venue, we're also a full service team of designers, stylists, culinary artisans, and event experts. From florals and bespoke decor to distinctive menu and signature cocktails, we curate every element with precision and artistry. Our process is seamless, allowing couples to be fully immersed in every moment, stress-free and present.
And I can promise you, going to Planterra in person to the conservatory, it's a lot more beautiful and it's a lot more to take in than what it shows right here during that story. But for more details or information on Planterra, go directly to their website, Planterra, Planterra.com. There'll be an upcoming art show that'll be taking over West Bloomfield very, very soon, featured a lot of artists, and we'll be speaking to one very soon. We'll get into that very shortly. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. The Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show is a high-profile exhibit, consistently ranking in Sunshine Artists' top 100 art shows in America, showcasing around 130 juried artists. One of those featured artists does ceramic art while transitioning to digital art and is also a poet. And joining us on The Splash Live from Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, one of the featured artists, we should say, we have Michael Terra joining us. Thank you for joining us, Michael.
Well, what a pleasure. And it sounds like Splash TV is an incredible institution. You guys rock.
Yes, we do, and we appreciate that compliment as well, Michael. And we just want to get into some of your work, your career, and things of that nature. But from my understanding, after more than 25 years of showcasing ceramics, you're transitioning to digital art paired with your original poetry. Can you just talk about what inspired this shift?
Sure. While driving cross country, actually, through Wyoming, we were rear-ended by a much larger vehicle going 25 miles an hour faster than we were. And it basically tore out my right shoulder muscles and cracked one of the spines in my lower back. And so I could no longer actually lift a single bag of clay. And after trying to figure out how to get people to come by at the right moment to lift a bag of clay up onto the work table for me and all that sort of stuff, we decided that I was unsustainable. And so I went back to a very old skill set, because in the 70s and 80s, I was a large format oil painter. I used to do 7 by 20 foot oil paintings. And they ended up in a lot of, they ended up in a lot of hotels and fancy dining rooms and public places on the East Coast. And so I figured maybe I could remember how to paint. And I've always had poetry. I've always done that in all of my work. So I took the poetical things that I was doing on ceramics and I have moved them on to painting.
Okay.
But oil painting is a crazy commitment. It's kind of like owning goats. You cannot leave town once you've started an oil painting. You can't take a weekend off. You've got to keep working. You have to keep moving the oil paint while the paint is soft and fresh.
Okay.
And you're stuck. If it takes you 3 weeks, that's great. But if it takes you 8 weeks, well, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I thought I would try painting using a tablet, because a lot of my friends, other artist friends, had made this transition and they were all about it. They thought, this is the future. This is great. So I've spent about 3 years teaching myself this new medium. And as you can see, I've kind of ended up doing it.
Yeah, and it looks nice too. Looks like you're in a well lit area that showcases your artwork as well. And you kind of just put out a lot of information about your story, and I want to break that down slowly but surely. And we appreciate you, Michael. But I want to kind of get into this Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. How does this experience with you being featured here, how does that feel different or more meaningful to you compared to maybe other events and venues that you showcase your work?
Well, this will be my first time at Orchard Lake, and I have a number of other artist friends who say lovely things about it. They like the setting, they like the organizers, they especially like the energy of it. And my work is a little weird. It's a little out of the box.
Okay.
The paintings themselves are very beautiful. They're clouds. So when you hang them on your wall, it's just like having an opening into just clean beauty. And then the words are very, very emotionally impactful. And when I look at the other artists that are at Orchard Lake, and I think about how am I going to fit into this group that's largely well established, I think it's going to be a good fit. And I think that I won't echo anything else that's already there. I'll be a fresh face.
Right. Okay, all right, so it's a lot to look forward to with it being your first time. I imagine it's a lot of excitement as well. And you've already heard great energy, great organizers as well, putting things together for this event. And joining me right here live on The Splash, by the way, one of the featured artists from the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show, ceramic artist, digital artist, and poet, Michael Terra, just talking about his experience, his career, and being featured at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. Now, I want to kind of go back because you mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, an accident and how it kind of redirected you as well. Can you just talk about how those health challenges influence your art? Do you find creativity has played a role in your healing? And can that message help members of our community?
I have always made my way in the world as a creative person. And so it's kind of, as my wife says, it's in my DNA. And in our house, whenever we run into hardships of any kind, we say pivot and step forward. And, so when this accident happened, we really, I mean, it was hard because I've been a sculptural ceramicist and poet for 30 years. I've done big public art projects. I've done, thousands of small pieces. So it's tough. I mean, I've got a whole collectorship that knows me and recognizes my work. I've been a principal speaker at national conferences, things like that, in that career. And now I can't do that anymore. So this is part of pivoting and stepping forward. And it's been challenging. It has definitely been challenging because I know how to beat a show. I know how to make art. I know how to write poems. But I don't necessarily know how to sell paintings. So I really have to learn all over again. I need to learn how to talk about my work in a way that I've never done before. So it's a little bit terrifying, but pivot and step forward, buddy.
There you go. Hey, that's a story of inspiration, first and foremost, Michael. Let me tell you, man, because not too many people think about that pivot and stepping in a direction, that reinventing themselves, that next chapter. People like to be locked in where they're comfortable, but sometimes life forces you to do that, and that's essentially what you did, kind of found another lane, and I got to respect that, man, and I gotta give a lot of congrats to that. Just a few things I want to inquire about. West Bloomfield essentially will attract a lot of families and young artists out at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. What advice or message do you bring to kids inspired to explore art or poetry?
So it does not matter if you are the greatest at painting or poetry or whatever creative energy you want to put out in the world. That is not the point of the exercise. Mm-hmm. The point of the exercise is to create. And it's going to sound weird from a guy who actually makes a living selling artwork, but the fact that our culture says everything has to have a dollar value kind of takes the juice and the joy out of creating and just regular life.
Right.
I would say to anybody of any age, create, make a meal, share it with your friends, even if it's not the best meal, even if it's not, you wouldn't pay for it in a restaurant.
Let's go, Mike.
Make it and share it.
Yes.
Sing in the shower. Tap your toe to the music. Move around. It doesn't matter if it's the best or, whatever. It's about the joy and the sharing, and just go with it and let it lead you where you're going to go. A lot of times I have an idea about a painting.
Right.
And I will think, okay, I want to kind of get this. But in the middle of my working on the painting, something else happens. And I will end up making a completely different painting. And I allow the process to lead me to where it wants to go. And just do that. Remember, it's about your own joy and about sharing with your community, wherever that might be. And just let it lead you. Let it lead you to joy.
Use your heart. Follow your heart. I love that. I love that. Before we let you go, Michael, lastly, just give people a preview of what they can expect when they see you at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show.
Well, I've got 4 paintings right behind me here that are a good example. Each one of them is going to have an integrated poem to it. All of it is completely family friendly. And I touch a lot on relationships. I touch on relationships between mothers and daughters and husbands and wives and brothers and sisters, between friends. There are poems about parting, about grief. There's a lot here. When you come to my booth, take your time.
Yeah.
Bring us a cappuccino. It's like you're being at the bookstore. Read, enjoy, think about it.
Yeah.
Ask questions. I won't be in your face. I'll be over here, letting you getting what you get from it. But it's kind of neat work.
Beautiful work, and it's coming from the heart, man. Hey, thank you so much again for your time, and we are definitely looking forward to seeing you out at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show in July. Once again, ceramic artist, digital artist, and poet, Mr. Michael Terra. We appreciate you.
One small point is that I will only be bringing the paintings. No more ceramic arts.
There we go.
At the show. So don't come for the ceramics.
Correct.
Come for the clouds.
There we go. Come for that great energy as well. Thank you again. We appreciate you, Mr. Terra.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. And for more information regarding the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show, go directly to the website. That's hotworks.org for more information. That's hotworks.org for more information. Social Pediatric Therapy offers a multidisciplinary approach providing speech therapy, occupational therapy, and applied behavior analysis, ABA, to support children with various developmental, behavioral, and communication challenges. We actually spoke with the founder, Alexander Yaldo, and clinical director, Amber Yaldo, to tell us a little bit more about the social pediatric therapy.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. How are you?
How does your team collaborate to create individualized therapy plans that address the unique needs of each child?
Yeah, I think that's a complex question, but I think it's a good question. So for us, right now we have our occupational therapist and our lead speech therapist kind of like take control on caseloads and things like that. So as a team, we find that, something as simple as sending a child to occupational therapy first to kind of regulate their nervous system and then bring them to speech therapy, we notice a big difference in progress that way. That way the child isn't like, bouncing off the walls or like really hyper or, not engaged with us. They're very regulated after OT. So they come to us and then their focus is much better. We can get a lot more work done, things like that. If we notice, a child's having difficulty with something sensory related, we always have those like meetings with our occupational therapists and let them know like, hey, what can we do in our sessions? And sometimes they'll give us like a little weighted snake to like put around the child to help with attention and things like that. We have monthly meetings with our lead occupational therapist and speech therapist, myself, Alex, just to go over things with the caseload and things like that, and make sure everyone's on the same page. I think one thing about our clinic is that, we're very open to new ideas and continuing education. So that's one big thing is that, we like to do our continuing education as like a group. For example, like gestalt language processing, we have clinicians that are certified in that and, doing like the child-led therapy approach as opposed to like traditional therapy approaches. We noticed, some kiddos can't sit in a chair. So, we'll follow their lead. We sit on the floor with them and provide therapy in their own world. We noticed that sometimes it works better that way as opposed to like other kiddos that can come in and sit in a chair for that 30 minutes and we're able to provide that quality treatment. So it's very dependent on the child and their needs. And we like to, discuss things as a team to create that individualized treatment and that unique treatment to better assist with their needs.
Awesome. I love everything you guys are saying. I love how you're implementing these strategies to really help work with these kids. Now, of course, it's not just the kids that you sometimes work with because you got to talk with the families. So what ways do you involve families in the therapy process to ensure consistency and progress as it goes beyond the clinic sessions?
Yes, so that is huge. So that's something that we really take pride in. Every single time, I talk to a parent before they even come in, I make it known how important their, involvement is. So like you said, for those carryover and generalization purposes of goals. We do it a few ways. So if, the parent has the time, we invite them into the session, they can sit in and they can watch exactly what we're doing. As a clinician, I actually prefer that, weirdly enough. I like to kind of like narrate what I'm doing and tell them the goal that I'm targeting. So that way, sometimes speech jargon becomes a little bit complicated, but when they actually are able to sit in the session, I can simplify it and show them like different ways that they can elicit that goal at home with like simple things like bubbles or even like a car, things like that. So that's one way we do it. Another way we do it is through home practice. So we'll send home, like if they're working on R, for example, or like they have a lisp, we will send home worksheets with different words, including the letter S, and that way they can, actually complete that homework and then bring it back to us the following week, let us know how it went, and if they, if their child struggled in a specific way or with a specific word, and then we can actually target that word in therapy. We noticed that makes a huge difference. Another thing that we do is we'll ask the families, like common words, like give us a few common words that you guys use at home. For example, like the child drinks milk every day. That's a very high frequency word, it's called, and they can't say it. So with that involvement, we're able to, target those high frequency words. And then later on, they'll eventually use that at home, and those like behavioral actions will like disappear, where they kind of have like those meltdowns because they can't request milk and things like that. So yeah, I would say those are the main ways that we involve parents. And obviously, like, just at the end of every session, we leave a little bit of time and we go and we discuss the summary of the session with the parent, the good and the bad, things that the child struggled with, things that they can work on at home. Even if it's like verbal homework that we provide, we always give something to work on at home because of that, to ensure that carryover and generalization of skill.
I love that, setting up those small little goals to help really showcase the progress as it goes on. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Amber and Alex Yaldo, the co-owners of the Social Pediatric Therapy, who are joining us right now to talk about their program and what they're offering to kids throughout the community. Now, Alex, how do you stay current with the latest evidence-based practices in pediatric therapy, and how are these integrated into your services?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So my native background is in economics and business management, specifically hotel management. So when it comes to therapy operations, Amber is primarily responsible for that. I handle all of the nuisance-based departments within our clinic. So as Amber alluded to earlier, we're always following up with continuing education. We're making sure when we're onboarding new staff, we're factoring in their qualifications, experiences, and the type of patients that they've worked with in the past, just because we understand that being in a city like West Bloomfield that's extremely diverse, we need to be able to target specific diagnoses, and we have a lot of bilingual patients, and Amber could speak to that when it comes to children growing up with two languages in the house and how it could affect their speech development. So just making sure that we're following up with continuing education, making sure that all of our therapists do have different certifications. That's one of the major qualifications of onboarding and employment for us. So even as far as our facility goes, Amber and I worked hand in hand with an occupational therapist that's designed a lot of the larger clinics nationally. And it's a company out of Mississippi, I believe, called Southpaw Enterprises. And they completely designed our gross motor gym. So we have our swing in there, activity tower, bubble tower, and obviously with medicine, just like any other industry, technology is evolving, and we really, really try to stay ahead of the times. And for example, one of the therapists the other day asked if we had a budget for standardized testing to specifically target a diagnosis. And I like internally to say that we have a budget, but in order for us to have quality of treatment and higher graduation rates of the kiddos that are within our clinic, we have to make those purchases. We have to stay on top of those things. So if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I would just say, just to kind of piggyback off of that, like he said, making sure that during our onboarding process or our hiring process with new clinicians, that, somebody has their own little like unique treatment approach that, they're excited about. For example, like I mentioned, like the Gestalt language processing, the SOS feeding approach, that's like our occupational therapist is certified in that. Just making sure we have, that diverse evidence-based practice, continuing education, so we can target those kiddos. Like if I notice that a kid will come in and, they're nonverbal or, they're a Gestalt language processor, I'll pair them with a specific clinician as opposed to another, because I know that they'll benefit greater with that clinician based on her education and background.
Of course, lots of really important pieces that fall into place, and it's great to hear everything you guys are doing to staying ahead of the times. And it is important to note that you guys are going to be having your ribbon cutting ceremony for your establishment on July 15th, coming up very, very soon. What can we expect from this ceremony as you make your way to Greater West Bloomfield?
There's a lot to expect. So we're expecting about 150 to 200 people to be present. We're having Slo's Barbecue, Cool Jack's handcrafted ice cream sandwiches. There's going to be face painting. There's going to be tours of our facility. Anybody that has questions is more than welcome to ask. Aside from that,
yeah, we have a clown coming, so she'll be doing like the face painting, balloon twisting, tattoos for kiddos. We have a bounce house, and some yummy dessert too. So. Like you said, that Cool Jack's, it's like a cookie with a ice cream, and it's like a cookie sandwich, cookie ice cream sandwich. So good for a nice warm summer day.
You guys are making me drool over there. Like, I'm really looking forward to everything you guys are going to have for this grand opening, and I'm sure the rest of the community can't wait to see it either. I got one more question for you guys before we wrap things up. Looking ahead, what are your goals for expanding or enhancing the services offered at Social Pediatric Therapy to better serve the community?
Yeah, that's a terrific question. So as of right now, we really want to dial in and focus on this clinic. And obviously, we all have Amber and I specifically have a vision of growing this company and being in other metropolitans within the Metro Detroit area. But specifically for now, just being able to stay on top of getting these kids to where they need to be is what I would say mostly. So as of today, we're looking for a BCBA, which is a board certified behavioral analyst, and we want to build up the ABA program that you spoke about earlier, applied behavioral analysis. And that is our next step. So we've been extremely selective with our employment process. We don't want to just put together a group of people that, have the licensure and certifications. We also want to TLC every individual person, vet them, and ensure that they're the right fit because they're a representation of our company. So Amber is very involved with the onboarding. Amber's very involved with therapists. I'm handling a lot of the back end, the accounting, the marketing, compliance with the insurance payers, things of that nature. But our clinicians at the end of the day are the ones that are treating the children. And we want to ensure that we're bringing them an experience like no other. And that's why we've invested into a state-of-the-art facility. We have a large facility because we are expecting to have a significant caseload at that site. But all in all, God willing, within time we'll have a few other locations. But as of now, we just want to, work out the kinks, satisfy parents, and just be successful and have a name within the community that is fulfilling. Amber all the time gets phone calls saying, "Oh my goodness, you helped my cousin's daughter speak." And it's when we go home, it's not a husband and wife duo. It's a business partnership duo, and it's the most amazing thing. And I've never been a part of an industry that just can make you smile so often. It's awesome.
Well, you guys have a lot to look forward to, and I can't wait to see what's to come with your business. Alex, Amber, thank you both so much for joining us here on the Splash Live today.
Thanks for having us.
To get more information about Social Pediatric Therapy or the ribbon cutting celebration, go to socialpediatrictherapy.com for more. The second annual youth football camp is happening on this Saturday. The Brandon Davis Swain annual football camp happening at West Bloomfield High School. That'll be Saturday, June 21st, 1 to 4 p.m. The camp is completely free, generously funded by Brandon's own NIL earning. That's name, image, likeness earnings, with all expenses covered by himself. We actually spoke with his father, Mr. Brandon Davis, to discuss the details of this free football camp.
Thanks so much for being with us, sir.
Thank you for having me. Hello, Civic Center TV.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this. Such a fun camp last year when Brandon kicked this off for the first time before heading out to Boulder to start his college career at the University of Colorado. What can we expect in year number 2?
We're going to expect more fun, more, community engagement, connecting with the youth. It's going to be a great time, so come on out, bring the kids, bring the families. Everything is free, and we expect to have another good turnout and just keep chugging along.
And something that Brandon is doing in putting on this camp again this year, you mentioned it's free. Any kids can attend this event. Yes. There was that QR code. We'll have that up on the screen periodically throughout our conversation that you can scan to sign your kids up to join in on this camp. And part of the way that this becomes a free camp for these kids is Brandon's giving back, using his NIL funds to then fundraise to put on this camp. And there's also some help from Matthew Judon. How important was it for Brandon, for yourself, for your family, to put this camp on and make sure that it was free for kids, not only in Greater West Bloomfield, but surrounding areas to participate and learn?
Yeah, Metro Detroit. We wanted to make sure that the camp was free because we realized that it's guys that are already in the NFL making millions of dollars and charging kids. So me and Brandon, we sat down and we talked about it. We want to make sure that our camp is free for the kids. A lot of kids don't have $100, $150, so that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be forgotten about or to be able to come in an event also. So that's what it's for. That's why it's free. Matthew Judon, of course, is a great sponsor and a mentor of Brandon, and have been for a long time. You know, with coming back and giving jerseys to the high school and sponsoring his camp. So shout out to Matt Judon. We appreciate you as well.
And it's so important, too, because a lot of these camps the kids are going to, whether it's, as you mentioned, with professionals or with trainers, they're learning all these different skills, but they got to pay for it. There's that paywall in front of it. And football, as we mentioned earlier on, it's a family affair, whether it's within your team, within your local community. It's about bringing people together. And so it's also a great opportunity for these kids to get some of that specialized training from elite athletes without having to incur that cost. And they're going to have an opportunity to do that with Brandon and the team this year.
And also, Tyler, the inspiration, the motivation, right? The really the inspiration to see that, hey, you can do it too, you know, and that's what it's about. It's about reaching back and making sure the next Brandon make it, you know, that has the opportunity, and give him the inspiration and showing him that, hey, it can be done.
Last summer, out at the first Brandon Davis Swain annual football camp, you had talked to me, and we had that presentation on CivicCenterTV.com, and you mentioned that part of the motivation behind this from your family's side was your mother, Brandon's grandmother, who was so involved in the community when you were growing up and even beyond that. How did she inspire both you and Brandon in this case in your organization of this football camp?
Oh, she inspired me tremendously. Brandon, unfortunately, was 6 months when she passed away, so he didn't get the full grasp of her. But she was in the community forever since I was young at Tyndall Recreation Center, Bustle Recreation Center, Clemente Recreation Center. She worked in them. She volunteered, was a mentor to the youth. And me seeing that coming up, I knew that that was my responsibility as well. You know, to make sure that we give back, and I instilled that in Brandon also. So she was a great inspiration in what we're doing right now.
He is the father of Brandon Davis Swain, an all-time great West Bloomfield Lakers football player and a redshirt freshman at the University of Colorado, playing out in Boulder for Coach Deion Sanders. He'll be back in West Bloomfield June 21st for his second annual football camp. That'll be happening at West Bloomfield High School, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Registration is open as we speak, and it is open for kids 6 years old to 13 years old. Tell us more, Brandon, about that age group and why that's the target group here for this particular football camp.
Because that's the elementary kids, right? That's the middle school kids. You know, that's a pivotal time, right? Yeah. And in a young man's or young woman's life. We're accepting young ladies too as well. And to figure out what they want to do, what they're inspired about, and if football is one of their inspirations, come out. You know, and that's what it's about, just inspiring the youth. That age group is a very, you know, you're going through puberty, you're trying to figure yourself out. It's you going through life at that age and trying to figure out who you're going to become. So we want to target that age group right there, right before they get to high school. We'll take some 14-year-olds as well, you know, if they're 14. There's no problem signing them up also.
And that camp is still a registration open as we speak. It's happening about a week from when we're talking live here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM to Brandon Davis, the father of Brandon Davis Swain. We'll put that QR code up again here in just a moment. There, you see it on your screen. We'll leave it up there for a moment so you can scan that. That'll take you to the website where you can sign your kids up. 6 to 13 years old is the target age group, as Brandon said. Some 14-year-olds also will be accepted into this camp, space permitting, and it's going to be at at West Bloomfield High School. Brandon, we've explored so much in the past, and I've talked with your son specifically about this as he was getting ready to leave West Bloomfield High School, how leadership along his journey from Ron Bellamy, from Coach Hilbers, from Tyrese Grice, and so many others that had coached him during his time here in the greater West Bloomfield area helped to inspire him. Now that he's at the college level, he's getting a different level of leadership, but we're seeing a lot of those leadership qualities and those principles that Deion Sanders talks about so much when he's speaking on the Colorado football program. How do you think that has been soaked in by your son and inspired him in efforts like this in his hometown?
Well, you know, just him being a leader by his actions. Brandon is a leader by his actions, and the people that you just named, you know, they led by action. You know, from all the way from Bellamy to Grice to all of his high school coaches. Shout out to everybody, you know, his D-line coaches, Coach Ivy, and all of the whole staff to where he's at now with Warren Sapp and Deion Sanders. These guys are great men. You know, these guys are men of integrity and helping the young man and the youth, you know, become great at what they want to be in life. And we need those kind of people. We need those men to come in and kind of navigate, right, the youth. And that's what it's about, to come navigate these young men to where they want to be, because these guys are the people that know and see the talent and the potential in these young men.
And they need leaders in their community. They need the adults, the coaches, the football fanatics, the experts to get involved. They need people to sponsor these events. So if people do want to get involved and they do want to sponsor these sorts of efforts with Brandon or with others, how do you suggest they get involved, either in this event or future ones?
Yeah, please get in contact with me. We need the community. Brandon is we're finding as many sponsors as possible, but anything that we don't have, he's using his own NIL money to go and put in the event to make sure that we have everything that we need. So we need the community to come in. We're looking for still all kind of different sponsorships. We'll take money, we'll take Gatorades, we'll take waters, we'll take anything to give away to the kids. It's all free, so you can get in touch with me and contact with me. My phone number, we can put it up on the screen. It's 586-625-0164. You can contact me and become a sponsor. Come help the youth. Come on out and see what we're doing. Also, we're inviting you everyone out to come on out June 21st.
And we want to help you get those sponsors as well. We know the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce has so many resources, businesses that are looking to help out in these sorts of ways. They want to get their names out there, and they want to get more involved in the community. So here's what we'll do, Brandon. We're about to wrap up. We got to get going. But on the other side, we'll have you connect with our Zoom producer, and he'll give you the contact info for the director of the Chamber of Commerce, excuse me, and she may be able to get you even more resources into that. But in the meantime, if you have a business in Greater West Bloomfield, you want to sponsor this event, help the kids get into the game of football and give back with one of our greatest football stars ever here in Greater West Bloomfield in Brandon Davis Swain. The phone number 586-625-0164. We'll put the QR code up there one more time as well for the football camp happening on Saturday, June 21st at West Bloomfield High School. Scan that, even more information, even more contacts. In the meantime, Brandon, I want to thank you so much for your time today and your continued support of our community.
Thank you. Also, we are a nonprofit, real quick, so anything over $250 is a tax write-off. So we are a nonprofit, second year 501c3 accredited.
All the more reason to get involved, whether you're a business, an individual, and just a football fan here in Greater West Bloomfield. Always appreciate it, Brandon, and we will see you next week, Saturday, at your son's football camp.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, CCTV.
And you can find out more about that free football camp for the youth right here in West Bloomfield. Go directly to Facebook. Go to the Facebook page at The D Zone for more information. The D Zone on Facebook for more information. Relief Michigan's 16th biennial Big Tree Hunt runs now through August 22nd, inviting participants of all ages to locate and measure Michigan's largest trees. Participation across counties as early as 2025, the contest has received 256 entries from 68 of Michigan's 83 counties, with a goal to have submissions from every single county in the state of Michigan. Lindsay Lights, Project Forester for Relief Michigan, actually joined us on the Splash Live to get the details regarding the Big Tree Hunt. How you doing, Lindsay?
I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing just good. I'm doing just great. Now, we spoke last year about this as well, so I want to kind of briefly talk about that and then just come up to date now. So can you just tell us, how has the Greater West Bloomfield community, our local community, contributed to the Michigan Big Tree Hunt?
Over the years of the contest, it started in 1994, there have been nominations that come from the West Bloomfield and the area around there. In the whole county, Oakland County's always had great participation. One really interesting thing I found looking through the data is that there's people who live in West Bloomfield, but they travel and they go and enter a tree. One I saw was all the way in Ottawa County.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if there's any connection, but has that had any impact on the local conservation efforts?
I think it directly gets people to look outside and care about them. So this project is really that first piece. It's an awareness piece. It's, oh, wow, I never noticed this giant tree on the block, but wow, that's awesome. And I want to take care of my tree so it can get that big.
Yes. Nice. I want to continue to dig a little bit more into this contest and a little bit more as well while we do have you on the program. But besides that, what initiatives has Relief Michigan undertaken to educate some residents of not only just Greater West Bloomfield, but of Michigan about the importance of tree conservation through the Big Tree Hunt?
I'm so happy you asked that. Relief Michigan does a couple different avenues other than the Big Tree Hunt.
Okay.
We do community tree plantings and community presentations. So we planted at Johnson Nature Center last year, and in there we put a sugar bush. So we planted 25 sugar maple trees that will grow up, and eventually they will produce sugar, that will produce the sap that makes maple syrup. And that'll be a way to engage students and engage people who want to care about the trees and get some hands-on activities about that. We also do presentations. So in the past, we've done a planting and maintenance presentation. That one was in 2011. Our organization has been around since 1988, doing this across the state. We also came and talked about pruning in 2023. So we do these presentations. They're normally for homeowners directly. They're about a 7 p.m. time at the local library. And anybody who's interested in trees can come and get easy information. They can go back and take care of their trees.
Nice. Okay. Look at that. So you are doing a lot to educate people, not just make this a contest, but let people know the purpose behind it and, the tree conservation and things of that nature. So literally things of that nature. I'm in my own head sometimes. But okay, good to know that. Now, very briefly, are there any groups from West Bloomfield or Greater West Bloomfield or even schools that have come together to participate in the Big Tree Hunt by any chance?
The Wild Ones of Oakland County, they are a group who they like to plant a lot of native. They like to get seeds, good seed source, and we've done presentations with them. Nice. And we really want to talk to the schools now even more. We want to get the kids out there.
No, I agree. Please get them out there. Get them out of school, away from the tablets, the devices. I mean, those are cool every now and then, but outside, I'm always with that as well. With me right here live on the Splash, by the way, from Relief Michigan, we have Project Forester, Lindsay Lights, just talking about the overall Big Tree Hunt and some of the difference that Greater West Bloomfield residents have made in this contest as well. Now, just continuing on, any notable record-breaking trees that's been discovered in West Bloomfield maybe, or even an area close to us?
Well, I know there's a lot of really special trees there, and that's why it's so important to get this message out to you guys. But none off the top of my head. There are state champions in Oakland County, but we're still looking for a huge one at one of those one of those forests that hasn't been touched for a while, somewhere people haven't been able to go in and cut down, somewhere that's been preserved, maybe somewhere like Bloomer Park. We're still looking for the huge one.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see it too. I can't wait to see that too and to see exactly where it is so we can just make it like a big tourist spot as well. Now, in what ways does participating in this big tree hunt benefit some local communities even beyond the environmental awareness aspect?
That's a great question. Just getting outside and into nature, just having our feet on the ground and looking up at trees, that is instantly going to make people feel better. And then that impact multiplies when they enter a tree to the contest. We can share about it as the big tree of the week and just excite people and inspire them to get outside. It's exercise, it's good for your mental health. You can get some really good fresh air, get some nice deep breaths, which in turn will give you some great sleep.
Yeah.
So we know about those traditional benefits of trees, but hopefully that's a little bit of the extra stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, get outside and enjoy, especially now that the summer's here. If looking out the window and seeing the sun bright and outside warm doesn't get you outside, I don't know what does. But this is another great reason to do so as well. Now, on the planning and producing side of this entire contest, it's not just all smooth sailing, right? So let's talk about the challenges. What challenges have you faced in promoting this big tree hunt, even specifically in suburban areas like Greater West Bloomfield?
Yes, there's so many people there, and our thing is getting the word out. So we try to get it out with paper entry forms and try to get into the libraries. Some way we've kind of worked with that challenge is we went to the statewide library conference to get in direct communication with the librarians. And there we even had a sign-up sheet for presentations, and about 15 different libraries signed up and asked us to come back to their communities.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I feel like once people get the word out, they know about it, then it's like, oh, okay, I didn't even know that was going on. Then they gain interest, and then word of mouth spreads like anything else. So I completely get that as well.
It's an easy contest to enter. We only go by circumference, so it's right the distance around the trunk of the tree where you go up to it and hug it. So it's really easy for anybody to join.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question. How does the contest work? Tell people how they can enter and that type of thing. So you just gave a little bit more. Can you please give the full context?
Absolutely. So on our website, bigtreehunt.com, BIGTREEHUNT.com, there is all the information you're going to need and an online entry form with diagrams. But what we're looking for is people to go out, pick the biggest tree they know, or even go out to the woods and hunt for the biggest tree they know, and take the circumference measurement. That's the distance all the way around the trunk of the tree. You measure that, take a couple pictures of the tree, and then send that back to us via bigtreehunt.com. We pick winners in different categories. So there's a winner per county. We identified the biggest tree in Oakland County. Right now, you guys are at 11 nominations. That's towards the top, but we could take some more.
Okay.
And it's up from the last time you and I talked on the show. And so we award trees the biggest in each county. We do the biggest white pine in the state. We also do the biggest tree entered in different age groups. So there's multiple ways to win. There's lots of ways to get your special tree admired and recognized.
Nice. Find your special tree and send it in. It could be the most special tree in the state of Michigan. With that being said, Lindsay, thank you so much. Any upcoming events, programs planned for our local communities to further engage the community in tree conservation and education by any chance?
There are tree plantings in the surrounding counties coming up and some presentations, but right now we're still looking to do plantings. There's tree planting application at our website, and there's presentation applications at our website. So we want to come talk to everybody about trees, whether we're getting our hands on the trees or we're coming in talking in a presentation format.
That's right. That's right. Thank you again for your information, your time, and for promoting something like this right here in our Greater West Bloomfield community. Once again, from Relief, Michigan, Project Forester, Lindsay Lights. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And if you know where there is a big tree in your area or somewhere in Michigan, submit your entry today. Go to reliefmichigan.org for more information. And also, as a quick reminder, tomorrow, Thursday, June 19th, Civic Center TV will have a special program covering the Juneteenth Jamboree in WB. It will be featured tomorrow at the West Bloomfield Parks and Library campus from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have special guest hosts. We'll be having a reporter live on site. We'll have special live interviews as well as other different coverage as well. So make sure you're right here with us at Civic Center TV on all of our social media platforms, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, Instagram, and X at Civic Center TV, and of course on our website, civiccentertv.com. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Appreciate you for joining us for today's show. Once again, we are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.